Frizz, flat straightened out roots, curls that don't last, finger coiling can fix all of these, but is it really worth the time? Today, I will show you exactly how to finger coil for beginners step by step for mega definition, more curl definition, and root lift, some common mistakes to avoid, and how to focus only on the areas where you really need it, so that way you're not stuck finger coiling your entire head. And I'll also show you how much longer my curls last compared to when I don't finger coil in my day 2 results. My name is Gina and welcome back to my channel. Here we talk all things naturally curly. I love simplifying things for beginners and really helping you problem solve with your curls. I'm also a curl coach who helps my clients figure out these techniques for their unique hair type. Those are the things that I can help you identify how to tweak. Let's first cover what is finger coiling. So I consider simply spinning your finger around your hair to be finger coiling. This is not the same as a similar technique you might have seen before, such as finger rolling. Once you get the hang of it, anyone can do it, and it doesn't add a lot of time to your routine when you do it right. So that's what I'm going to show you. I do need to first show you what I did to get up to that point for finger coiling. So we first want to prep our hair. So starting with freshly washed, clean hair, I'm applying my heat protectant, which is the Living Proof Leave-In Heat Protectant Spray. It's a very lightweight, watery spray, and it's going to add a lot of slip while protecting the hair. So I do want to cover what I'm using beforehand because it is going to impact how well you can finger coil. The next step is to section your hair if needed. You don't have to section your hair, but if you want to finger coil certain areas, it might be helpful, especially if you have a lot of problem areas like I do, a lot of root frizz. It's going to help to apply your gel in sections and style in sections just for more even coverage, but it is totally optional. You could wait until the end and just finger coil a couple pieces, and I'll be showing you that as well. The next step is to apply styling products with slip. One of the keys to finger coiling is making sure your hair has enough slip in it. And what I mean by slip is your hair has that kind of seaweedy, slippery feeling to it where you can easily glide your fingers through it. If you can't smoothly run your fingers down your hair, then finger coiling is not going to work very well. So slip can come from anything that's conditioning, such as leave-ins, curl creams, or a moisturizing gel. I usually recommend using just one product, such as a gel that has some moisture in it to keep it simple and really maximize your hold. Today I went with the Ouidad Advanced Climate Control Stronger Hold Gel, which is a very moisturizing gel. It's very easy to finger coil with because it has a lot of slip to it and it's very thin. Using a gel like this is going to give you maximum frizz control and definition, especially when you apply it very thoroughly and precisely like I'm doing here. If you don't apply enough of this gel, it's not going to give you any hold. Now for the finger coiling step, but I recommend only finger coiling where needed. This is going to save you so much time. I'm going to be splitting my top section into 2 because I really only focus my finger coiling in the very front section, but you can do some around the crown as well if you want some extra volume. Before I show you a breakdown of exactly how to finger coil in slow motion, let's talk about when finger coiling helps and when it might not be worth it because you might not even need this technique for your hair type. As I mentioned, finger coiling is best for certain problems such as clumping stubborn curls, tucking in those short hairs, or maybe breakage or regrowth. It can help prevent frizz and make your curls last longer. It can fix wonky curls or stubborn curls or encourage limp curls that have been stretched out, such as after brush styling, to help them get more potential, such as at the root. When it might not be worth it is if you have waves or very loose curls that don't spiral. Finger coiling only enhances your natural curl pattern that you already have. You can't create tighter curls with it, so it might help you with frizz if you do it, but it's not going to actually make your curls tighter if you don't naturally have that spiral to your hair. If your hair's not frizzy, if you don't have a ton of spirals on your curls, which is totally fine, then it might not be worth doing. Also, if your hair is very fragile and breaks easily, you would want to be very careful or skip the technique altogether and just make sure you have a lot of slip if you do still decide to do it. But anytime we're working with our hair and applying tension, we want to be very careful. But I would say finger coiling is probably less tension compared to brush styling, so it is safer than brush styling for very fragile hair. Next, let's break down how to finger coil step by step for beginners. You first want to brush your section to get your hair smooth, ensuring that the root is also smoothed out. So you'll see that I put the bristles of the brush right up against my root, and that's to make sure that I capture all of those hairs. Next, pick up a small section of hair where the curls naturally group together. Brushing through the section first can help you identify where those small groups are. You want your section to be your natural curl clump size because if you try and finger coil a section that's too large, this can really reduce your volume and it might not curl very well. And a on the flip side, if you pick up an area that's too small, it's going to take forever to finger coil your head and you're going to end up with very tiny curl clumps. But it all depends on what your natural curl clump size is. Next, you want to hold the curl clump loosely to where there's less tension so you can see at the root which direction it goes in. This is going to be really difficult to determine if you don't have much curl at the roots. You might just have to experiment, but you can also gently shake it to see if it spirals and which direction it goes in. But you'll want to look at that first bend in your hair, even if that's further down the hair shaft. Over time, you'll get in the hang of it to where you'll already know which direction your curls go in, but sometimes it does just take that trial and error, and sometimes we might not ever know which direction they go in. All we can do is just try and see which one helps. You want to ensure that your fingers are wet and have plenty of slip. Add a little gel if needed. I always have gel and water on my fingertips, not just on my hands. Then pinch the clump right at the root and start spinning your finger around your hair. As you're spinning your hair, you want to glide your finger slowly down the hair shaft as you pull your hand out. You want to make sure that you're moving up and away from your head so that way you don't undo all that hard work. You don't want to be pulling your hair downward. So that clump is getting twisted or coiled as it's getting curled. You're almost creating little twists all over. When you're finger coiling, you can go all the way to the end or you can just do part of the hair. Sometimes if I just want to encourage root curl, I will just coil right at the root and then drop the hair to be quicker. I don't always do the entire strand. It just depends on which area of the strand needs help. I wanted to show you an example of when I'm struggling with determining the direction because it happens to all of us. You can try both directions to see what works, and here's what helps me. So when I'm holding the strand, I just loosen it up a little bit so that way some of the curl can form so I can see. And you want to look at that first bend. So see how this curl kind of dips down? That indicates to me that it might be going forward. So I'm going to try going forward or towards my face first. So what I mean when I say I'm going towards my face is my finger starts in front of my hair. So if you look closely, the hair is behind my finger's on top, and then I start twisting it. That is going towards my face. So I'm going to keep spinning my finger towards my face as the hair glides down it. And sometimes I even kind of fluff up the hair to get it to curl up and see if it'll bounce up. Sometimes I kind of flip it around to see if that helps. Try it one more time and it's still not curling up. So I can clearly see that the hair is just straightening out and not taking its natural curl pattern. You can also add more water because if your hair is too dry, it's also not going to curl up. So now I'm going to try going in the other direction, which would be away from my face. So if you look closely, now the hair is in front of my finger and you'll see that I start to spin it away from my face. So that one also did not turn out perfectly. I just kind of alleviated some tension. I tried both ways and sometimes it just doesn't work. Some curls just don't want to be finger coiled and that is okay, but at least trying both directions, we can see which way helps. Sometimes you might also need to start in the mid shaft or start at the ends because curls will change direction. So I ended up just giving up on that curl and moving on to the rest because it's going to be hidden anyways. I usually don't fuss with it. If it's not working, I just move along because all of our curls are not going to be perfect. If you're already feeling stuck, stay tuned because I'm going to show you exactly how to hold your finger, which way to angle it when you're finger coiling, and how to fix those common mistakes if it's not working for you yet. Now let's cover some common finger coiling mistakes that I often see that can make or break if it works for you. First, you want to avoid wrapping the hair all the way up your finger. This is what I mentioned in the very beginning about how I don't consider finger coiling wrapping from the end of your hair all the way up to the root and then unraveling it. Yes, that can curl your hair, but you'll probably notice that when you unravel it, your curl doesn't really form. There's really no tension there. It's just spiraling the hair, but it's not helping it actually take its curl. Instead, finger coiling is more of a fluid motion as you pull your hand down your hair. So as I've been mentioning, your hand is gliding down your hair versus your hair around your finger. The next mistake is pulling the hair straight down as you finger coil, which can just make it too tight and cause it to get stuck. This is too much tension on the hair. It can lead to breakage, and it could also be pulling on it too much to where the hair can't curl. Instead, you can pinch the hair at the root or just direct the hair up and out, which will prevent too much tension. It just alleviates that weight. That way the hair can actually curl. So if you look closely, my arm is up and my hand is more up by my eyebrow instead of my hand being down below my chin. Another mistake is finger coiling tangles or hair that is not smoothed out. So this happens a lot if you don't rake your hands through your hair first, or you don't smooth out baby hairs or any of those hairs that are just all crossed over. If you try and finger coil that, it might just end up kind of wonky and you'll still see frizz. It won't really help with your curl pattern. So instead you want to run your hands through your hair almost like a comb, or you could use your brush. That's definitely what I do a lot too because it's quicker. Just get the hair smoothed out before you actually finger coil it. It makes the world of a difference and it's really going to help tame frizz and tuck in those baby hairs. I also wanted to show you a quick finger coiling method if you don't want to do any of that, but you really just want to get those root curl benefits or maybe fix some stubborn areas. You could wait until you're completely done styling your hair. So get all of your products applied, have your hair down out of the clips, out of the sections, and just pick up some random pieces along your part. I recommend picking up pieces on your part because that's going to help the most with getting more root volume and help give you that illusion of more root volume by creating more defined curls there. So I like to look for areas in my hair where I can tell that there is more bend at the root. So when I'm looking at the top of my hair along my part, I can see how this one hair has a nice bend at the root, but I probably didn't bring it out enough and the hair was just kind of blended into the rest. So I'm isolating that curl clump that I can see has a little bit more potential and then finger coiling it. And then you'll see when I drop it, there is much more lift at the root. It just creates that illusion of root lift. It's almost like using your curl pattern at the root to your advantage to create that height there, instead of it being kind of smushed and blended into the hair below it. You can also try flipping it to the other side. Sometimes by flipping it to the other side, it helps create even more root lift if it's going in the opposite direction that it wants to lay in. This is often where I will target frizzy, stubborn areas where I'm still seeing a lot of frizz or flyaways. I will just pick up the hair next to it and then tuck it in. And you can even see me kind of flipping the hair to both sides as I'm working my way through the part area, which is really helping give more root lift. And if I had a lot of baby hairs and frizz, here's how I would just target those areas. So say you finish styling and you see a lot of frizz happening right there, just pick up that area, re-wet it, and then finger coil it to tame it and tuck it in. So now you can see at my root area and along my part, it has more of a messy part instead of a super defined part, which is giving me the illusion of more volume. In the end, I really only ended up finger coiling about 3 or 4 pieces along my part, and it made a huge difference. Now that I'm done styling, I'm going to microplop my hair and add a little bit of extra gel. This step is optional, but it's going to really speed up my dry time and also help increase my hold because I do go in with a little bit of gel after. And when you're applying that gel onto hair that is more dry, you're going to get a lot of extra hold. And when I'm applying that extra coat of gel, I'm not messing up the curl clumps I just created. I'm just sort of glazing it in and doing some praying hands. Once your curls are in place and you're happy with how it looks, then you have to set them in place, which is what diffusing is best for. So this is the best way to lock in your style and prevent all of your curls from just unraveling and frizzing up. While I finish diffusing, I want to show you a peek at one of the coaching calls from my curl coaching membership where I was guiding a client on how to finger coil her hair and we were trying to figure out which direction her curls go in. So let's get into that and then I'll show you my results after diffusing. Are you struggling with just where to grab it or how to move your hand, or how can I best show you here? Look at which way that it's curling. I can see one bend at the top. I think it's going away from your face. Whichever hand you're most coordinated with, just start wrapping it around your finger in that direction. Yep, that looks perfect. You probably do have more curl at the root if you kind of bring it out more. So see the bend that's right underneath your finger, it's curving that way. As you're coiling it down, also be pulling your finger down, which is helping the hair come through your finger so it's not all getting bunched up right there. It looks curlier. I can see where now you've got like more of a bend at the root. Going back to today's styling routine, once I'm done diffusing, I always like to fluff and scrunch out the cast, so that's step 7. If you really want your wash day results to last though, you can leave your cast in if you want maximum definition, but I prefer to scrunch out most of it for a softer and fuller look. And here are my final results with the cast broken. I do still have a little bit of cast on my front pieces, but I wanted to show you how much more root lift that I got with this method. This is the main reason why I started doing this finger coiling method, is just to help with my overall shape and also really help with those curls at the root, because I realized I was really straightening out my root curls with my previous brush styling and sectioning technique, whereas this technique I've been doing where I'm just finger coiling at the very end is really helping to bring out my curls' full potential at their root, and it's giving me much more lift and shape around the top part area. and it didn't really add that much time at all to my wash day routine. I really only focus on that area. For this video, I did show you finger coiling most of my hair to give you lots of examples to follow, but for the most part, I just do the top part area. One of the other major reasons I finger coil is so that my curls last longer. So let's take a look at my day 2 results. It is now day 2, and do you all see why I finger coil? I don't have to do anything to my hair today. Yes, the We Dye gel is very long lasting, and the gel does have a lot to do with it, but a lot of it is my styling. That precise styling on my problem areas, specifically my short baby hairs, any frizzy bits down here, and also trying to keep that volume on top. That is why I don't have to do any refreshing, because the curls are defined to their full potential, so the frizz is staying tucked away into the curl clump instead of just freely going all over the place. Let's compare my day 2 results when I don't finger coil so you can really get a sense of the difference that it makes and if it's worth the effort or not. I personally think that it is, at least for my problem areas. You can clearly see in the comparison when I don't finger coil, I have a lot of frizz, specifically in the areas where I have a lot of those short baby hairs around the temples. I just have a lot more frizz overall, and that is with using the exact same gel in my hair. I do have just a little bit of normal frizz today, specifically in these areas, just a little bit of flyaways on top, but nothing that can't be fixed just by organizing the curls. So all I've done is just separate some curl clumps, and sometimes I even finger coil some pieces when I do a dry refresh, because this gel has that soft feel to it and it has that really long lasting hold. You can just finger coil it and tuck the frizz right back in, and it won't make the curl clump puff up. It will actually redefine it without anything on your hands. So I don't have any gel or water on my hands right now, and I can just show you an example. So this curl is just a little bit frizzy, nothing too bad. And if I coil it around my finger in the same way that I've been showing you, and I go in the right direction, which I didn't there, it will redefine it. The hairs will lay nicely against each other, which will help redefine it and sort of tuck in that frizz. It's subtle, but can you see the difference there when I do that? So a lot of times I will go around and just dry finger coil a couple of pieces. Sometimes if my grays pop out or these short baby hairs pop out, I will just take my finger and coil them around, or I will tuck them into a larger curl clump if I have a couple of stray hairs popping out. And that's a quick and easy way to touch up without really having to do anything. I don't even need to wet my hair. So that is the beauty of the finger coiling technique, which I personally think makes a big difference and is totally worth the couple of extra minutes that it takes, specifically on those areas where I focus the efforts. Did you learn something new about finger coiling? Let me know below. I hope you found this step-by-step tutorial helpful. I just wanted to remind you that curls are never going to be perfect, and the goal is not to have perfectly uniform curls and spend forever finger coiling our entire head, and your unique curls are what are best. If you want some hands-on guidance where I walk you through exactly how to style your curls using the right technique specific to your hair's needs, I would love to help you out with that inside of my group coaching program, which is now open for enrollment for our fall program, which runs now through the end of November. So if you want to get in, now is the chance, because doors only open seasonally and the seats are limited. So if you want to stop guessing in your routine and you just want to be told exactly what you need to do, and if you want me to see your curls to give you that feedback, check out the link below if you want to read a little bit more about it. And you can also send me a DM or an email and tell me that you would like in, and I can send you some more details and we can chat about if it's the right fit for you. If you want even more help with getting longer lasting curls to where you don't have to do a lot of refreshing, check out my recent video all about my stronghold method. I will have it linked for you right here on the screen. This video will walk you through exactly what you need to tweak at every step of your wash day routine to maximize your curl longevity and your hold, so that way you don't have to do much to your hair after wash day. So I will talk to you over in that video. Bye everyone.